Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of What the Heck Did I Just See? Seriously, not only did that movie look like a comic book, it felt like a comic book. So much was thrown at you. It was pretty relentless, but in a good way. And it wasn't all like that. It had some slow moments to let you catch your breath. But even that, you had to pay attention to those moments because they had some information for you. So yeah, the latest in the Marvel universe, or should I say Marvel Multiverse. This film picks up shortly after the defeat of Thanos and everyone just getting back to normal after the blip. And of course, Wanda still traumatized by something that happened in her TV show, which I won't spoil just in case. But let's just say she's going through some stuff and things. And it's up to Doctor Strange and a new sidekick with the power of multiverse transport to set things right. The original Doctor Strange characters all make a comeback in various ways. We see characters from across the multiverse, including certain Marvel TV shows. I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say this is a who's who of everybody in the multiverse. And that's both good and bad. When you see what happens, you're like, oh no. But when you first see him, it's like, oh yeah. And hopefully one character will come back in their own movie. I'm not going to say who, but fingers crossed. 4 fingers crossed. Obvious hint is obvious. Wanda is definitely going through the multiple stages of grief. She's been driven mad with sadness because of all the loss she's endured. And there are scenes where she is like a slasher coming at you. But at her core, she is a woman who has had to endure every sort of trauma except a certain R word that I'm not going to say out loud to keep this review safe for everybody, but you know what I'm talking about. That's the only thing she's never experienced, hopefully. But everything else, yeah, she's had it pretty rough. But you see, behind the evil, there's pain. So she made for a pretty decent multi-level villain, or not multifaceted, multi-layered villain. As for the new girl, the sidekick, who I think is getting her own TV show, she was okay. She got kind of knocked around a bit, mainly because she was the MacGuffin for a while. But I thought she was okay. My first thought when I saw what her powers could do was like, is she this universe's version of Stargirl? But no, Stargirl is completely different. Although it's interesting to see star motif again in such a specific way. The effects, changing gears, the effects were pretty good. The multiple universes were clever, and even though some of them were blink and you'll miss it, what we did see was quite interesting. And I would not dislike seeing more of the multiverse in that fashion, because the way it was depicted was very artistic in a good way. The music was kind of low key, but not bad. It complemented everything. The fight scenes were a bit up close and personal, which made it hard to see, but not impossible. The various uses of magic were very well done, and you can tell who was doing what, because the color coding kind of set the mood and set up the various characters. Overall, I wouldn't call Multiverse of Madness the best. Personally, I prefer the first film, but I think this was a solid intro into a wider field, I should say. I look forward to seeing many of these characters return, and what they've set up, hopefully, will blossom further. And I really, really, really hope some of the characters who didn't make it to the end aren't permanent. They say good comic book characters never stay dead. And I hope it stays true for some of the cast in this film. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, magic may not be real in the form we want, but it does exist on celluloid and in digital format. That's right, I'm talking about the magic of movies. Excelsior.